Hello everyone and welcome to Acorns Children's Hospice, and this is our lovely gardens we're going to walk through now, which is like a little oasis in the middle of Worcester. We're very lucky to have it, and we look forward very much for you to see it. And so we're going to walk through the gate now. Planting here is, like a lot of the planting I do here, is not too formal. I like to cram lots of plants in and mix a lot of our native species with more well-known formal perennial species. It's a mixture, and I just like to put as many plants in amongst all the more formal plants that were here originally when it was landscaped. I've just been adding and changing things gradually over a long time when I have time to just produce more flower, more fragrance, and as I said, encourage more wildlife. Okay, so we're walking down now through the path to a very important place, which is our memorial garden, which has been here from the start. It's been replanted and regenerated it and restructured it over the years, but it's always been here, and it's always been a very important place. It's the only area where we have water, and this is a lovely little stream we have with a pond down at the bottom. And for all the families connected to Acorns, when a children passes away, they have the choice to have a name stone, which is placed in the pond. The overall theme of planting, which I like in this garden, that I prefer, is to mix native species with the more formal shrubs and perennials. Once again, you have the same sort of thing going on here. It has gone quite wild here at the front. A lot of the little rockery plants that were tumbling over have been a bit swamped by the field scabious, but we can balance that out over time. But it's so full of flower in the later part of summer. It's amazing. We also have some lovely shrubs and plants that were donated from our lovely volunteers and people connected to the hospice. Yeah, it's more ferns, geraniums and roses. This one has started to thrive again this year. Lovely red rose. I'm not sure what variety that is. Once again, these poppies and the love and the mist has just found its way in here, along with the acrolegias, which I've planted lots of. And down the bottom there, you can see, is the Japanese maple. Yeah, this is one of my favourite. It's probably my favourite Japanese maple because it has a good form, and it has probably the strongest red, fiery red autumn colour. This garden is for everyone, for families, staff and volunteers, and also for everything that lives in the garden, because everything has its place, and the more we allow the dynamic balance, the more you plant, the more insects you have, the more of a dynamic balance you have in the garden, which keeps pests and diseases generally under control in a natural way. Okay, and this is the second half of the garden now as we walk through these gates, and we have various seating areas here. We are due to acquire some new seating here, which this patio has just been regrouted and redone by a fantastic volunteer. In these gravel areas we have plants like heleniums, rudbeckias, echinacea, similar types of flower, and also seeded its way through is Verbena bonariensis, which is probably the butterfly's most favourite plant, along with buddleias. And here we have a play area with musical instruments for the children, which they love to have a good bang and crash on, as do many of the staff. The planting here is very bright, and it's really sort of yellow and orange and purple themed. So within all the planting, like abstract sort of planting, I also like to have some areas that are themed a little bit. So we have the Lysimachia all coming out here, and it's a very bright yellow, and the California poppies, which as you can see the foxes sat right in the middle of there, bright orange, and the lovely purple Cotinus smoke bush. I like this bed. It's only been planted really in the last few years, over a period of time. There's 3 nice grasses in there as well, but the spiky plants, as I said, we did have quite a lot of spiky plants in here, and which I've been trying to reduce, because the linear leaves are very nice, but they do have pointed ends, and so if you put your face near those, and I worry that children could hurt themselves or catch their eyes, which I've done myself gardening here. So it's one of the things we have to think about in planting here. Yeah, we have this garden is a little bit more like an arboretum, and in that we have lots of individual specimen trees here. Around the base of these trees, I've made a bigger area and actually planted up with various plants and seeded areas with some wild flowers and things. The idea of I haven't done it everywhere, but just in these trees particularly, it's quite nice to have like a little garden under the trees. This is Prunus cerulla, which is a form Tibetan cherry tree, and it's a wonderful little garden tree, grown for its shiny bark, which over the years peels, but and the more you touch it and rub it, the more it will shine, and obviously children can like to peel little bits off it and things, which makes so you get different, that will then darken, and but the thing I love most about this tree is the peeling bark. When the sun shines through it, you get a lovely effect. You basically get, it looks like little amber streams of amber light coming through it, which if you hold up to the light you might get that effect. You see that? So the effect of that, as the tree gets bigger and you get lots of this stripped bark stripping off and the light shining through it, creates this lovely amber glow through the whole tree. So it's a wonderful little tree in your garden. These beds have now turned into wild flower beds, and along with some self-seeded buddleias, which I've thinned out, but I've left them because they go perfectly with the Verbena bonariensis again, which comes through here later in the year. At the moment we've got lots of lavender mist and some poppies, but that is just completely swamped in colour and butterflies in the later summer. This grass is kept quite short so people can sit down and use it as a recreation area, and sitting under trees is probably the most relaxing thing you can do to calm yourself down. I've had conversations and seen people, family members are going through the most difficult time in their lives, come up here and just sit quietly and hear the birds in the background, and it's very helpful. And sometimes they talk and will chat to me, and they'll talk about the garden. And it's a very helpful and beautifully serene place to be, this part of the garden. Okay, walking up here, this is, as far as the formal garden is concerned, this is the last sort of section which I created a little bit, created the beds in the last 2 or 3 years. Had a little seat there. I find in a garden this size, there's certain places where, especially in hot weather, you find there's a little spot that has an atmosphere of coolness, and there's a little bit of a breeze, and you perhaps protected by the trees. And this is one of those areas where you can sit down and feel cool and in the heat of the summer. This is the main lawn, obviously connected very closely to the hospice, and we have events on here, like a large marquee will be put up on Memorial Day, which is every 2 years, and other events that we might have. We've got Bergamot here, which has become a bit rampant in the front. It's gone a bit taller than I expected it. I was hoping it to, but It's a lovely plant, fragrant again, so you know, if you break the leaves and smell it, it's a lovely smell of Earl Grey tea, which is the smell the leaf they use for Earl Grey to flavour it, the oil. There's some dark red lupins in here, and here's a couple of roses here which are very important. This was originally from, this rose is called Ena Harkness, and it's a very fragrant, spicy, fragrant rose. And this one actual rose was growing in the garden of June Sace, who donated all the land and her husband, who donated all the land to Acorns. It's a beautiful rose, and it's very meaningful to have it here in front, right in front of the hospice. It sort of created I decided to plant a lot of red type plants here, so you know, you've got the red lupins and the red thistle there, and the Ena Harkness rose, which are beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed the virtual tour of Acorns Hospice Gardens, and we really hope you'll come along and visit us next year. We do fantastic tea and cakes, so you'll have a lovely time and be supporting a truly wonderful place that is very important in the community in Worcestershire. So thank you again, look forward to seeing you.